Hey friends, we're here at the Ohio March for Life. The victims are being represented as usual. Why? Because Created Equals here. That's why. Because everywhere we go, the victims are going to be shown. They will be represented. And that's why we're here at the Ohio March for Life. We're walking down right now, marching down High Street. Left the State House after the rally. And we believe that the victims need to be represented at their own march because we're marching for them. We're not marching for ourselves. That's what makes the pro-life movement unique, is that we are not representing ourselves. We are representing someone else. And since they are dead, those who we represent, the only way to represent them best is through a photograph of a baby who's been killed by abortion. So, again, Mark Harrington here, coming to you from the Ohio March for Life. Activist Radio, the Mark Harrington Show is brought to you by Created Equal, and you can donate to our work by going to createdequal.org. Just click on that donate link on the right side of the homepage, and you can support our work on college and high school campuses. And we are here at the Ohio State House today. This is the first Ohio March for Life, first annual March for Life. We hope that's just the last one, actually, because we get to ban abortion here in Ohio. But this is the pivot that the national organization, the March for Life, is doing. They are now holding these statewide March for Life in the aftermath of Roe v. Wade being overturned. And this is the first time because of that. And so that doesn't mean that we're not going to be going to Washington on a semi-regular basis. I don't know what happens there, but these have been happening across the country. There was just one in Pennsylvania recently, and so this is the first shot at it, and it's a pretty decent crowd. I was actually a little shocked here. I wasn't sure what kind of turnout we'd have, but it looks like there's a pretty good set of folks here. A lot of people, a lot of groups organized, showing up with their booths and their tables, handing out literature, got speakers up at the podium. But Creating Equal's mission here is a little different. I mean, we're okay with marches. We're good with marches. Marches to us are an entry point into the movement. They're a good first step for a lot of people who haven't done anything. And so we support marches. We just want to end the marching. We want it to all go away so we can go do something else, frankly. But we have a mission here, and I'm here with Created Equal's Vice President, Seth Dreher. Seth, why is Created Equal here? I mean, we're here to be part of all of this, of course, but we have a different role, generally, at these marches.
I think it's because, Mark, we know what our role is, right? Abortion is not about you or me or about anyone here right now. We are whistleblowers against the injustice. It's about the victims themselves. And so it'd be so strange to have an event for the victims of abortion and have them not be present. So we're here so that they be seen, so that they are here for the event that is for them in their name.
Right. Well, you know, the victims can't represent themselves because they're not around. They're dead, right? So we have to represent them, and the best way to do that is through the photographs and video. That's why we take the Jumbotron to the March for Life on an annual basis. We set up on Constitution Avenue because we don't want people to forget why we march. We march to end the marching. We march to represent the victims. The victims are being represented today because we're here. I don't know if they would be represented if we weren't here. We're the ones who show victim photography and video across America, and any big venue, whether it's pro-life, whether it's pro-choice, whether it's any other kind of whatever, we show up with the signs. And so
I did see someone else with signs. They were our signs, though. They bought offline. So that's just for anyone listening. You can go to our store and buy the signs, take them to your marches, because we want you to do this too.
Exactly. We were out around the perimeter earlier, just reaching passersby and people driving by, because a lot of people won't even know why people are gathered on the State House grounds if they don't see why we are here and we're showing these pictures. And so right now the rally's beginning, right? We have some speakers showing up, and then they'll march. And we will march along with the signs on our shoulders to represent the victims in their own march. You know, it's been a lot of years that we've been doing this. And, you know, I had Father Pavone actually ask me when I was in Washington, D.C. He said, Mark, it doesn't seem like there's much hostility to the use of victim photography nowadays and video. And I said, well, that's kind of true. We've seen a little drop in that. We don't get openly attacked by other pro-lifers very often anymore. Now, I'm not sure what to attribute that to. My own views are it can be one of two things. Either people have just figured that they have a place, they may not do it themselves, but they have a place and they've kind of acquiesced to the idea that they have a role and they are effective. Now, it also could be they're just apathetic. They don't care. Of course, we want more people to use these tools. We think they're the most effective way of reaching culture, changing the subject, or changing hearts and minds. You got to have something to point to that's objective. Otherwise, it's just your own opinion. What are your thoughts? I mean, as we continue to do what we do, we get more people doing what we're doing, but still, in my view, there aren't enough doing it.
Well, so I was just standing there with the sign on my shoulders a minute ago before I walked over here, and I saw one girl walk by, her hand over her mouth. She's here at a pro-life event against abortion. Still, the images, when you see the victims, it just hits you in a deeper way, right? I think our friend Stephanie Gray Connors said that images just burn their way into your heart in ways that words just don't. So we know we have to be here, but I think your point is right that I don't know why it's changed, but there has coming to a massive pro-life event like this, normally I'd have at least a dozen saying, you don't belong here, that's gross, you shouldn't be here. Maybe that will also happen, but no one has said that yet today, and a lot of reasons we could suggest why that is, but one of them is when you hear those groups with those photos, it sounds scary and the hypothetical. When people come see us, it's not the same, and many have seen, shout out to our YouTube channel, Create Equal Films, they've seen the conversations we have. They know this does actually change hearts and minds, so I think they've accepted it somewhat as a strategy.
No, I agree. I think we've prevailed over the movement in that people accept it as a part of the movement. They used to say, oh, we're kind of over here, here's the rest of the pro-life movement, but nowadays I think we're included in the movement, which is a good thing. I still would like to see people to actually say, they'll come up and say, hey, Mark, I love what you do. And I'm like, but you don't want to do it, do you? I'm like, no, I want them to say, Mark, I love what you do. I want to do it too. And so we're trying to get there. Slowly but surely, we're having some effect. And we'll continue to represent the victims irrespective of whether anyone else in the movement does it. We will continue to do it. All right, so some parting words with our audience here, Seth, as we finish off the year. We got the November 8 election. You got some pro-abortion people, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why they're doing that in the middle of the rally, but anyway, we're heading up to November 8th. It's a consequential election, mostly in Michigan for us, of course, for us around the country. But we are, throwing in Michigan and trying to defeat that measure there, and that's going to be an uphill battle.
Well, I would say that, so I'm, like you, encouraged by the numbers here. This is a lot more than I expected for the first ever statewide March for Life. But what's most important is we know, you and I know, this is not a numbers game ultimately. And that's why, so for example, we go to not only to these events, but to the pro-abortion ones too, where we are way outnumbered. But our signs, when the victims are seen, it doesn't matter if it's 50 on 1, the truth is still there. So my general encouragement is just do this, take our images, go show people, go to the events, and you will see truth prevails. And that's what's so exciting. So I'm encouraged today.
Well, as Greg Cunningham used to say, it's a force multiplier because people see those images. It doesn't take a whole lot of time to figure out what that is. Right. You don't have to spend a whole lot of time explaining what's going on here. And he also called it a data compression device. In other words, it communicates a lot of information at a glance, and that's why it's so effective to get the conversation started in the right direction. So I'm here with Steph Dreher, Vice President, Created Equal at the March for Life. First annual, hopefully the last one, here in Ohio, the Ohio March for Life. Okay, we're here with Molly Meyer and Silas McAuliffe, who are both staff at Created Equal and here at the March for Life, Ohio March for Life, the first annual and hopefully last one that we have to be part of because we want abortion to be over, right?
Right.
We don't want to be doing this again, do we?
No.
Especially in Washington. Hopefully they'll wrap that one up and just be doing it across the country at states like Ohio because that's where the battle rages right now. So I want to ask you guys, why would you come out here and hold all these ugly pictures in front of a March for Life? These are pro-life people. Why?
Because I think even though they're ugly, people, even pro-life people need to see
the people aren't ugly.
The signs are ugly. I think that people need to see the truth about abortion and that they need to be encouraged to be more involved.
Do you think they don't see abortion? A lot of pro-lifers don't know what it looks like?
Yeah, I don't think many do.
Really? Isn't that interesting? There are a lot of people that come up and say they've never seen pictures like this before. Hard to believe. This is why we fight, supposedly, right, to end the injustice of abortion. And people, some of them don't even know what it looks like. So that's the reason we're here.
Right? Yes.
The other reason, and I'll answer this one, is we want more people to do this. We want more people to use these tools because this is just another tool. It's a very effective one in my view. So Silas, what do you think? I mean, why? You've been to many of these. We've been to Washington. We've done this before. We've done it with our Jumbotron. Why would you come out here? And by the way, first of all, why would you come out here?
Yeah, I think it's very important that in a march for preborn people, we be able to represent them. We need to, if we're going to stand up for them, we should, recognize them as the reason we're here. And so why not show them?
And have you had people come up and say, why are you guys here? That's gross. You should go away. Anybody say that to you?
Not today, but we've definitely had it happen before.
Right.
Yeah.
And we expect that from pro-choice people, right? Pro-abortion people. I think that, and I said this to Seth earlier, there's less hostility to the use of these photos, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think so. It's definitely becoming more, people are recognizing why we do it.
I just wish they'd do it. So behind us here, or I guess in front of us, is the Ohio State House. And friends, just so you know, there's a couple of bills that are hopefully going to come forward during the lame duck session, which is in between the election and the swearing in of new representatives, that could, should, would, I hope, end abortion altogether in the state of Ohio once and for all. Because currently in the state, we have a heartbeat bill that is, for all intents and purposes, it saved babies up to 6 weeks. But that law has now been held up in the courts, and we probably aren't going to get a determination finally on that until after the election when the state Supreme Court actually hears the case. So that's why we're here. We're going to be pushing here at the legislature. If a bill does emerge, we will be behind it here at Created Equal.
You've been listening to Mark Harrington, your radio activist. For more information on how to make a difference for the cause of life, liberty, and justice, go to createdequal.org. To follow Mark, go to markharringtonshow.com. Be sure to tune in next time for your marching orders in the culture war.